The Galactic Council chamber fell into an uncomfortable silence as Ambassador Sarah Chen stepped forward, her simple gray diplomatic uniform a stark contrast to the elaborate ceremonial armor worn by every other representative in the vast circular hall. The question she had just posed hung in the air like a gravitational anomaly, bending the normal flow of political discourse around its inexplicable mass. Counselor Thexvar of the Hegemony was the first to recover, his chitinous plates clicking nervously as he shifted in his biopod. "Ambassador Chen," he began, his translator rendering his clicking speech into precise standard, "your species' tendency toward unpredictability is well documented. Surely you understand the necessity of maintaining proper defensive protocols." Sarah's dark eyes swept across the assembly of 237 species, each representing civilizations that had mastered faster-than-light travel, energy manipulation, and technologies that could reshape matter at the molecular level. Yet every single one of them maintained vast armadas of warships, battle stations, and planetary defense grids that would make a fortress world jealous. "Defensive protocols," she repeated slowly, letting the words settle. "Against what, exactly?" The Crystalline Collective's representative, a being of living light contained within a geometric prism, pulsed an agitated amber. "Your species arrived in vessels with no weapon signatures, no shielding beyond basic meteor deflection, no escort fleets. Yet in the 3 standard years since first contact, 17 separate conflicts have ceased, 12 trade disputes have resolved favorably for previously disadvantaged parties, and 6 entire star systems have requested human mediation services. And this troubles you because..." Counselor Vexani, whose people had conquered half their spiral arm through superior military technology, extended one of her primary appendages toward the holographic display that materialized in the chamber's center. "Observe," she said, her voice carrying the weight of a species that had never lost a war. The display showed the Kepler system, where human colony ships had arrived 2 years prior. No defensive platforms orbited the planets. No patrol squadrons swept the asteroid fields. The merchant vessels that came and went carried minimal shielding and absolutely no weapons. "Your colony worlds are completely defenseless," Vexani continued. "Yet piracy in that sector has dropped to 0. The Skirik raiders, who had terrorized that region for 3 centuries, have abandoned their operations entirely." Sarah nodded thoughtfully. "I see. And you believe this is because something about your presence terrifies even the most ruthless predators in known space," rumbled Counselor Morth, whose species had evolved from pack hunters and still maintained their ancestral understanding of fear scent. "But your ships carry no weapons. Your colonies have no defenses. Your people walk among us without armor or personal shielding. It makes no sense." The human ambassador clasped her hands behind her back and began to pace slowly around the speaking circle, her soft footsteps the only sound in the vast chamber. Every optical sensor, olfactory receiver, and electromagnetic detector tracked her movement. "Tell me," she said conversationally, "what do your species do when faced with an unknown threat?" "We analyze it," responded the Zephyrian delegate, her crystalline voice ringing like wind chimes. "We study its capabilities, determine its weaknesses, develop countermeasures. And if the threat proves too powerful, we retreat, regroup, and return with superior force," said Thexvar, speaking what every being in the chamber understood to be fundamental tactical doctrine. Sarah stopped walking and turned to face the assembly. "And what do you do when you cannot determine the nature of the threat?" "When your most advanced sensors detect nothing dangerous, Yet every instinct tells you that something is fundamentally wrong. The silence stretched longer this time. Several representatives exchanged glances through their various sensory organs, a complex dance of communication that spoke of shared unease. "I'll tell you what we would do," Sarah continued. "We would approach it. We would study it up close. We would poke it, prod it, and test its limits until we understood exactly what we were dealing with. This is what my species does with everything unknown, from quantum anomalies to sentient gas clouds to civilizations that have mastered technologies we can barely comprehend." She gestured toward the holographic display, which now showed human exploration vessels venturing into regions marked as highly dangerous by every other spacefaring species. "You fear our unarmed vessels because you cannot understand why we don't fear you. Every one of your civilizations became spacefaring by conquering or avoiding threats. You developed faster-than-light travel to escape predators or reach new hunting grounds. You built weapons that could crack planets because somewhere in your evolutionary history, you learned that overwhelming force was the key to survival." The hegemony counselor's plates clicked rapidly. "And humans did not learn this lesson?" Sarah's smile was small, but somehow managed to fill the entire chamber. "Oh, we learned it very well. We learned it so well that we stopped needing to prove it. You see our unarmed vessels and wonder what hidden weapon they carry. You see our defenseless colonies and wonder what trap we've set. You see our willingness to approach unknown phenomena and wonder what makes us so confident." She paused, letting the weight of her words settle like sediment in still water. "The answer is simple. We stopped building weapons into our exploration vessels the day we realized that we ourselves are the weapon. Every human ship that approaches your borders carries 3 billion years of evolutionary experience in warfare, survival, and adaptation. Every human colony represents a species that fought its way from cave paintings to faster-than-light travel, not despite countless threats, but because of them." The council chamber remained silent as Sarah Chen concluded her statement and returned to her simple chair among the elaborate thrones and biopods of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations. Finally, Counselor Morth spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "You're saying that your species doesn't need weapons because we are the weapons," Sarah confirmed gently. "And the most dangerous weapon in any arsenal is the one that doesn't look dangerous at all." The council session ended early that day. Within 6 months, 17 separate species had approached Earth requesting formal non-aggression pacts. The treaties were all signed aboard unarmed human vessels.